A little bit about me. I really care about people. I love people, and I want them to do the best. And um, I really believe in the mindset. I think the mindset is something that can either make or break us. I think our minds are literally the most powerful tool that we have, and I don't think anyone truly understands the power within it. I feel like I'm starting to realize it a little bit more every day, but still, I feel like I have a long ways to go to like really understand the power of the mind. I realized this when I played baseball. I played baseball all the way through college, and there was one particular season where I was just kind of forced to have like a all-star year if I wanted to keep on playing. And
Mhm.
so I just did everything in my power to make sure that that happened. And my mom had given me a copy of the book The Secret and the movie The Secret, and it just planted some seeds for me, and it just like put this idea in my head that like if I visualize things and I put enough emotion towards it, like that actually could be my reality. And so I did that, and like just wild things happen. Like I would always visualize myself hitting a walk-off home run off the seven of the scoreboard, like that specific and detailed.
Oh, wow.
And I would close my eyes and I would see it, but more importantly, I would feel it. And so then there was one game and it happened exactly. It felt like it was all in slow motion. It hit off the seven, and I was like, this is
Oh,
wild.
wow.
Like, this is far beyond baseball. And so I think ever since then, I've been on this path to figure out how do I recreate that more. And that's kind of where our company comes in line. We have this company called Just Grow Visions, and we use a lot of AI, a lot of technology, a lot of software and systems to basically help you reshape your mind on a very pragmatic, systematic basis where you can change the disempowering narrative that most people have going on in their unconscious and really shift that. We have these things called vision espressos. It's basically a message from your future self uh, that is in your voice because of the fact that we can use AI. And then you listen to that every day, right as you're waking up, right as you're going to bed. You can make it your alarm clock. You can just say, "Hey Siri, play my Vision Espresso," and it plays. And it's just really cool because we've seen some profound shifts in people just like in a matter of a day or two. Like people are feeling the best that they've ever felt in their life. Like we had one
Wow.
client, her mom's like she had been in a really rough divorce, and just just really going through it, and like in a matter of a few days, like her mom even just commented and said like, I don't think I've ever seen you this happy in like years. And so
What?
like that's more like the feel good stuff, but we also have clients that have like literally 5x their business in 30 days. And like I
Oh,
could
I
go
need to
on and
get
on.
on
And there's
it.
stories and stories of this, but the overarching theme is I think like there's kind of this misnomer with mindset where people are like, oh, what does that even mean? And so we kind of break it down and bring more pragmatism to it and say, like, this is actually how you shift into a really empowering, powerful mindset, utilizing tool, utilizing technology. Um, and so, yeah, I think it's interesting because I even went through our process again recently, and what it told me kind of gave me a summation of like who I am, which helped me understand me more. And it was kind of interesting. I didn't think about it until recently, but it basically told me that I'm a tech philanthropist because I love giving, I love helping people, I love just being generous, and I love
Wow.
using technology because it's really powerful stuff if you know how to use it.
So it helps you not only figure out what you want from life, who you are,
Hmm.
and but also reach your goals
Yeah,
that's amazing.
it's
That's
fun.
like some how much is this thing? Like I'm assuming it's a
Well,
lot
we
because it's
charged a lot in the beginning just because of like how much it took us to put these things together. We were upwards of $2,500, and now like we're since our costs have gone down significantly, and we want to bring this to mass market. We brought it down to $197, but right now
that's
before our next event, we're even dropping that down to 75% off because we just like putting our systems together as we're building out our app and everything. So right now it's only $49 just because we want to get a lot of proof of concept and just get as many
wow.
people coming through there. And then again, on the back end, we're building out the community where we basically are shifting the narrative that entrepreneurship has to be hard and has to be lonely because that's what everyone says. And now we're building out this community that's AI based, where it's like you come in and the whole idea is to find what we call your monos, like your hands. My friend Jake and I always talk about this is like, I think the secret to life is finding those like 5 to 10 people that like are just like your ride or dies. And when you have those type of people in your life, like life gets amazing. Whether that's for your business, like if you need someone that's, a really good media buyer, or you need a good advertiser, you need a copywriter. If you had that one person that could transform your business, like that could be the difference between making 100 grand a year and $1 million a year. Like, so there's a lot of power in just finding the right people. But I think what a lot of people have challenges with is like finding those right people. And so I always say that it's kind of two sides always. It's the woo side as well as the do side. So it's like woo is kind of like the mindset, inner work, energetics and stuff like that. The do is kind of like the strategy, the networking, the systems, the processes. So I always like finding that balance to marry the two. It's not either or, because I think there's just camps that like they'll throw shade at one side or the other saying that's not the way to do it, and the other side will say that's not the way to do it. And I don't think like anyone's really right. It's just about finding what works for you. And I think it's about marrying the two, because we live in this physical world, but we are spiritual beings. So it's like that's the truth, from my perspective. And I don't think like you can just like say one side or the other.
That is, yes, it's very true. Do you actually have to update those 10 uh, ride or dies, whatever you refer to,
Yeah,
however you,
I think
yeah,
they
do you have to
evolve.
update that like every year, or is there like a,
I think it's important to like just continue to take audit of who the people are in your life and if you're growing with them, because
okay,
not everyone's going to be growing at the same pace. Like I've even had people that were definitely my ride or dies for a while, and always going to have absolute love and gratitude for them. But, we evolve and we're at different paces of life sometimes. Like, just for example, like I'm single, I'm in a very growth phase. I'm just working on my business. That's what I'm focused on. We have a strong suspicion that we're going to build this into $100 million company, potentially even selling this app for $1 billion at some point. I really believe
I
that.
think so too.
And then some of my friends were like on that wave early on and wanted to be like side by side with me. And then one friend in particular who's like really, really close friend, and then he got into a relationship, and he wanted to put more energy into that, and that was sometimes more so just hanging out and just having a good time and chilling. And so therefore, like we weren't as aligned as we once were, and I was growing this way, he was growing this way. And so I think it's important to just continue to take audit and keep on finding like that collective group that's going to be
Right.
with you with where you are in that season of your life, but always having love for everybody that's come through your life. It's just a matter of finding that alignment that works for you in your season at that moment in time.
And then how do you just drop these people? You just say,
um
homie, we're,
I don't think it's necessarily dropping people. I think it's just like when you focus on what's important to you, it all just kind of like aligns. And if someone's just continually like hitting you up to like, let's say for example, someone's like, you're in a growth phase and all your main focus is your business, and they just keep on saying, hey, let's hang out, let's go smoke a J or whatever you want to do. If you say like, hey, I'm doing this right now, after a few times, if they keep asking, then you can kind of like they'll kind of get the gist, I would imagine. If
they'll
not,
give
then
up.
I think it is really powerful to have hard conversations as well. Like that person I was referring to, we actually ended up having a hard conversation around this whole topic, and it just brought a lot of understanding to both sides, and just realized that we are in different phases of our life, which is fine. But I would also say that that's a big thing, is like have the hard conversations if it's relationships that you believe are worth having those hard conversations, which is not easy. I actually have another hard conversation lined up later tonight. So
Ooh.
um, it's a constant process. But I think that the more that you step into courage, as we talked about before, having those tough conversations, even when you don't want to, it helps you level up like instantaneously. That's my belief.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, we had such a nice deep conversation that was not recorded. My
you gotta
mistake.
you gotta subscribe for that one.
Yes. So, yeah, you guys lost. Um, and I guess, well, we also want to we want to talk about the Just Grow in person podcast and your
Yeah,
event and all the great things you're doing with that.
sure. Yeah, that's something that's really exciting for us right now. We've got our
Yeah.
next event on Saturday, actually, May 11th. So this is going to probably be one of our biggest one. It's our 11th event total, and it's going to be on May 11th. So there's got to be some symbolism there. It's
Yes.
with a good friend of mine. His name is Akshay Nanavati. He goes under Fearvana on Instagram. And basically what he's doing is going to be the first person to traverse Antarctica by himself,
What?
coast to coast for 1,700 miles, 110 days, dragging a 400-pound sled. So we're going to interview
Is he
him.
crazy?
He's going to find a bunch of wisdom, and I think it's powerful what he's doing. He's a very magnetic person. We're going to talk about becoming magnetic, what it takes to become magnetic. He's been able to really cultivate a really powerful mindset. He's been able to raise capital unlike anybody I've really seen before. He's also a master networker. He's got one of the most powerful networks I've ever seen. And so we're going to sit down and talk about all this stuff. And we're also going to do some breath work beforehand. We got a couple of facilitators coming through to bless us with that. And then it'll be networking after that. And it's a powerful room. We'll have influencers that have hundreds of thousands of followers in there, and just people that are building multi-million-dollar businesses. And it's a powerful room. And we cultivate these rooms really intentionally because I really believe in the power of community, getting the right people together. We talked about that before. Is you asked me what is success to me during
Right.
the unreleased episode, and I said that success to me is being around good people and treating myself well. And so it's really served me getting around really awesome people, and so I think God has really placed that in my heart to be a caring, good individual that can open up powerful conversations and bring amazing people together. So I learned that about myself after really sitting with myself and understanding myself a lot more. And then I'm just utilizing my gifts, because I heard a quote that said, your talents are gifts from God, and what you do with those talents are your gifts to God. So I feel like I'm
Love
just
it.
fulfilling my purpose when the events are really important to me.
So is that why you actually started this podcast journey, to fulfill that mission, to be around good people?
Yes. I mean, at the beginning, it was like I was on psychedelics, and I had a crazy idea on top of a mountain, and then I was like, yeah, it sounds like a good idea. And
What?
a week later, I was speaking in front of 70 people, and I'd never thrown an event before. But then it just kept evolving. People kept asking when the next one was, and so we just kept throwing them. And then all of a sudden, we had over 200 people in a room, and we were sharing deep insecurities, and it was a powerful moment. And it made me realize that what we were doing is really powerful. And it definitely, like I said, God is tricky,
Yeah, we
Sometimes you feel like
were.
you're on the path, and then he's like, nope, this is the way you go. So just got to be open and be willing to just continue to course correct when you feel the pull.
That is so true. And did you want to mention about what you're afraid of again?
Oh man, you're gonna take me through that again.
Oh, I am now. Shoot. Then people gotta have their answers.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I said
gosh, Niko.
a couple of things that I stated was rejection. Rejection's never fun. Um, and I would even add to that, I think the thing I come back, I'm very deep in my faith. I got baptized a couple months ago, and
Oh,
something that
really?
continues to come back to me is be a God pleaser, not a people pleaser. And I think I've had the tendency, historically speaking, to be a people pleaser, but now I'm really leaning more towards being a God pleaser than that. So I'm I'm less concerned with rejection as I used to be, but I still feel like that's still something I'm still always going to navigate, because I'm human just as we all are, and we all have our insecurities. And then the other thing I'm scared of is just looking back on a life that's filled with regret and not fulfilling the things that God had planned for me. So I just do my best to ask him what I should do, and then just follow the path accordingly.
Niko, these answers were superior to the previous version. So everything happens for a reason.
Exactly.
Wait, did you get baptized as a Christian Orthodox? or did you switch from Christian Orthodox to something else?
Yeah, the church I'm at now is actually kind of non-denominational,
Okay.
and I think I have an interesting journey through faith because, as we were talking about before, is I grew up Greek Orthodox. I actually didn't spend a ton of time in the Greek Orthodox Church. Um, it's kind of a funny story. My yaya, who's my grandmother on the Greek side, as you probably know, but for anybody
Yeah.
listening that doesn't, we always laugh about the fact that like I was being noisy in church, and my yaya tried to give me a coffee candy to like shut me up, and I just like spit it out in the pew in front of me, and we always just crack up about that. And it's funny because I'm not much of a coffee person. I don't just even really love the taste of it. And we kind of laugh because it's like maybe it's because I was traumatized early on in the Greek Orthodox Church.
Might be. How was she thinking that was going to calm you down?
She was, it was probably her last
Grandma.
resort. She was trying everything, and then she's like, "All right, Hail Mary," and it didn't work.
Oh goodness. So that makes me wonder because you were a good kid, but I guess not in church.
Not in church.
That
I
was
was
the
the
one
candy
time.
spitter in church. So yeah.
That was not it. Huh.
Yeah.
Ah, so I see that answered what was Alice's question, if you were whatever the childhood question and whatnot. And right. And so now that we are at the two truths and a lie. I don't think we did this one, right? Because you
No, we were just getting to it. Okay.
finally, yes. So I wanna, okay. Let's make sure cameras are recording. Okay, good. Everything is recording. Let's, yeah. What you got for me? Two truths and a lie.
Okay. All right. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been skydiving 3 times, and on the second time, the parachute actually malfunctioned, and like the cord actually ripped here on the
Let me
front
see.
side. And you know, fortunately, nothing severe happened. I broke my ankle and a couple other things, but um, obviously survived.
Okay,
That's
so
the first
that's
one.
one.
I've broken my collarbone twice. Once was in football, and one was in soccer. They're both. It was my left collarbone both times, about a centimeter from each one. And then the last one is I've had quite the journey through psychedelics, and my first psychedelic that I ever took was an ayahuasca ceremony.
All right, so the third one is true
Okay.
because early on you mentioned something about the psychedelics, which is why you got into the podcast. And you play baseball, but you don't play soccer and basketball unless you play everything under the sun. So I'm assuming, oh, hmm. Hmm. Okay, the first one is true. Although, my goodness, you broke all that much breakage. I don't know. Okay, I'll say first and last ones are true, and the lie is in the middle. Okay, you didn't jump. Good thing you didn't jump out of a freaking
Yeah.
100 times.
Well
All
done.
right. So you played soccer and what you call it?
Football. Yeah.
Football and baseball.
Yeah. Well, that was when I was
Okay,
much younger. I played baseball all the way through college, but soccer and football was when I was a youngin.
so very athletic, I say.
Yeah, or I was at
Ah.
one point.
Until you get into psychedelics.
Yeah.
My goodness. All right, that was fun. I guess I did not. I don't do well at that. You must. You know what? You could probably get into acting because you were very
I'm a good
difficult to
liar.
read. No, I would say you were just difficult to read. I wouldn't. But if so, this is another game that I have for you. It's called "If You Could" game.
Okay.
If you could have dinner with any person from history, who would it be?
Mm. Just one person?
Mm-hmm.
some reason I feel called to like share a couple and then I'll narrow it down. I think my top
Hmm?
ones are Benjamin Franklin because he was the first millionaire, and I'm always very intrigued with people that are innovative.
Yeah,
Uh,
wise.
I'd really like to talk with Steve Jobs. I
Really?
I just the fact that he would always be able to bend his his reality to his will. That was even kind of what he was known for, of like even
Hmm.
when it would just seem so preposterous to do anything, he would just like power through and figure out a way on how to do it, or like have his team figure it out. And I really love that. And I was really inspired by his documentary. And I feel to some degree like I'm kind of I've said this a couple times before. I feel like with this next event, we're basically unveiling the Vision Espresso, and I feel like it's very revolutionary. And I've told people I feel kind of like Steve Jobs getting ready for the keynote, the iPhone keynote. So I just like to kind of
Right.
like get into his mind a little bit more. And then obviously the last one is I would love to meet Jesus and kind of just
The
hang
last
out with
one?
him. Well, it's probably the first one. I was kind of, yeah, I would say Jesus for sure. Like understand his
Right?
heart and how he was so giving when everything else told
Yeah.
him not to be giving and generous and loving.
Yeah. That's so I guess if you had to narrow that down. But man, Steve Jobs would have, but then as long as you don't get cancer, shoot. I don't know if I would follow his advice. How long did
I
he
mean,
live?
everyone
Not
has their
long.
things, right? Like, and he wasn't like the greatest of human beings. He didn't treat people amazing, but he certainly like had a powerful mind.
Yeah, he was a very good salesperson. If you could gain one ability, what would it be?
I'd love to fly.
To
Is that
fly.
ability? Is that part of the
Yeah,
question? Can I have that?
yeah, heck
I've
yeah.
always had these dreams of like flying. It's like
Yeah.
it was fun.
Huh. Shoot, I'm afraid of heights. That is not. I'll be like, mm-mm. That's awesome. If you could have $1 billion today, what would you do with it?
1 billion?
Hmm.
I'd give a lot of it away. Um,
I knew you were going to say that. I think I already know you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I want to travel more for sure. I want to go to the Greek islands again. I want to go to New Zealand. I want to go to Australia. I want to go to South Africa to do cage diving with sharks. Um, I got some certain things on places I want to live, some penthouses and whatnot. But something that's like I find really fun, and I've started doing it more, is like just being very generous in like cool and unique ways. Like one thing that we did recently is we brought a bunch of people together and we got a food truck, and all of us tipped the food truck $100. So we like effectively gifted them with like almost 3 grand. And
Oh,
it was just a really powerful moment. I've always put that into like my vision audios about like I just surprised waiters that like took care of us really well with like a 5 grand tip, and just like making their day, and like even like giving it anonymously, like if I'm in line at a drive through, like pay for the person behind me. I think, you know, this world we live in, I think some people have gone dim to feel like no one cares and what's the point. And I
right.
just want to inject that generous nature into this world that can have a cascading effect on people and really help them realize that there's good people out here that care about them, and just shift that narrative. So I think the answer is that I would give a lot of it away. I don't have the exact number breakdowns on what I do, but I definitely want to actually. I would love to like support a lot of my friends that are doing big things that need more capital to fund their ventures. That's another big thing for me.
Yeah.
Get a little travel in, treat my people right. Probably bless my. I have 2 nieces now. I'd probably buy them a bunch of stuff that they don't need, and just take care of my parents too.
What about some investments? Something that would make your money make more money so that your
Oh,
nieces
sure.
can
Yeah. I
have
mean,
more.
I'd put a lot of money in crypto. That's for sure. I mean, I have some, but I
Hmm.
would probably put some. I think that's definitely an appreciating asset. That is a good move.
Is that like so crypto is your your number one, if you were to invest like a lot of money? Is that where you would, or is there what other ways?
Yeah, there's another thing that I invested in a couple of years ago that's doing pretty good right now too. It's called Digital Real Estate. It's a company that basically builds out SEO websites and like does a pay per lead model. And
Hmm.
then you buy the site, and then they work the site, they rank it up, and then they start renting out that site to business owners, and then the investor, me, gets a portion of those dividends. And so the
I know
more sites
exactly
on,
what you're talking about. I actually build sites and sell them, so I'm
yeah,
really, yeah.
exactly. But the company that I've done it with, they just have an automated process, and then all they need is more investors to put more capital in to build more sites. So
Uh-huh.
it takes a little while to like build up because, as you know, SEO takes some time, but that's a pretty good investment that I have right now. I would just keep on like building I think one of the best investments is ourself. Obviously, I've invested a lot of money into myself, my mindsets, my skills. I would just keep on getting new coaches, the best coaches in the world. I would actively search out to get the best coaches in the world. That's probably another big thing that I would do. And
Oh
just
yeah.
like, what I really love doing too is like bringing amazing people together and going to like really fancy dinners. That would be another thing.
Oh
I'd probably do that like once,
yeah.
twice a week.
That's yeah. You gotta bring them to Vegas.
Exactly.
Oh, what about that? We do a word association game.
Cool. Let's
So
do it.
I'll say a word, and you have to immediately respond to that with the first word that comes into your mind.
Okay.
So it's like a quick type of. Let's see how quick you can be.
Let's see it.
One, God,
Me.
love,
Everywhere.
sleep,
Now.
Corvette,
Blonde.
morning,
Routine.
vote.
Trump.
I knew it. Oh shoot. Oops. Money,
Good.
regret,
Nothing.
breathing,
Air.
marriage.
Yes.
Yes. You're quick. That's awesome. Yeah, you are quick. Okay, so Trump we're talking, huh? Obviously, we don't have what are the options? What the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you said quick, and I'd like to expand on that if you're okay with that.
Yes, please do.
Um, I think that in the line of work that I do, with like helping people build out their visions and getting clear on what they want. A lot of people ask the question. I just think this is the best question to ask practically every day is like, what do I want? What do I want?
Right.
What do I want? And here's just another little side tidbit to that is like when figuring out what you want, it can be basically like one of three things. It can be you can focus on specifics, you can focus on general, or you could focus on the feeling. So let's just go with like a watch, right? Let's say you want a watch, and you could say like I want this Patek Philippe or an AP, whatever these $100,000 watches. Or you could say I just want
Nice.
like a nice fancy one. That's general. So it's specific, general, or the feeling. Or you could just say I just want a watch that like makes me feel really confident in myself, and I can walk and feel like I have status or whatever it is. So like those are the three. Those are just like I just heard that again today, so I thought I'd share. But what I'm getting at is that you said that I'm quick, and that's very intentional because when I ask somebody what do they want, like what's like their vision, like within their relationships, what do they do want? What do they want to do with money? What kind of business they want to build? Like those are big things, right? And a lot of people will say, "Well, I don't know." And so
Right.
one of the things that I always constantly share is like the whole concept of being decisive. And it starts with little things. Because if you're not decisive on where you want to go eat tonight or what shirt you want to wear today, how the heck are you going to be decisive on the bigger items? And so I think it's a really powerful practice to be decisive on everything. Because I mean, at the end of the day, like you ask me these like associations. Like, does it really matter that much that I said Trump or yes or whatever it is? Like, I think it's more about like making a decision and then making it right. And also they're
Right.
not like life sentences, because like here's a story that I heard a while back, and I share this with clients all the time as we're like getting them to be decisive. Is there's a story, have you heard of this one? Is the guy sitting on the fence? Does that ring any
Mm-mm.
bells?
No?
So there's a guy sitting on the fence, and the devil comes up to him. On one side of the fence is heaven, one side is hell. And the devil says, which side are you going to pick? And the guy's sitting there, I don't know, I'm still deciding. And the devil's like, okay, cool, I'll be back in a little bit. Devil comes back a little bit later. The guy's still on the fence. He says, "Which side?" He's like, "I don't. I haven't chosen yet." And the devil's like, "Cool, come with me." And the guy's like, "What? What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah." The devil's like, "The fence is mine. The fence is part of hell." And so I know from just
Wow.
my personal experience and clients' experiences, like when you stay in that in between phase of like, I don't know what I want. I kind of want this. I kind of want that. Like, I feel it's a mental purgatory where the longer you sit in that, it just wears and wears and wears on you. And so I think there's a lot of power in just being decisive, and it starts on the small things, whether that's word associations or what do you want to do with $1 billion, or it's bigger decisions with like, what kind of business do you want to start? Who do you want to marry? Who do you like? Those type of things. I just think it's such a powerful asset to be decisive.
I am with you. Also, like, if you think about it, like when you're in war, right? And you have all these people shooting at you, you're not just gonna be like, you have to make a decision. You either have to duck, you have to run, you have to shoot back. There's something like an action must occur. Like otherwise you're just gonna
Right.
get killed.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. And don't feel bad because I voted for Trump and I'm voting for that sucker again.
Sucker.
I'm voting for him. No, I'm trying to make this country great again. So yeah, that's we're good. We're on the same page.
Yeah, this
Uh,
podcast might have ended if we weren't on the same page.
right. Me and you can hang.
Yeah.
So a rapid fire questions game, which is pretty similar, I guess.
Cool.
This game is also about quick thinking and being spontaneous, which you got that down. But it's like, I mean, you don't really have to be that fast. I know I've been holding you hostage here already 30 minutes and plus the other 30 that we didn't record. But okay, I get into it. Morning person or night owl?
Morning person. Uh, that's fluctuated. I like my mornings right now.
That's on a healthier side. That's good. I'm trying to get there too. No, I'm working on it. What are the first 5 things in your morning routine? Didn't we talk about? Oh, that was when we. Well,
Oh,
I guess. What do you want to do? You want to skip it, or you want to?
I always have my AirPods in my bed with me,
Hmm.
and I fall asleep with them in, just like on one side, like right here. And I'm listening to my Vision Espresso, and then right as soon as my alarm goes off, even sometimes earlier, I just throw it back in, and I just say, "Hey Siri, play my Vision Espresso," and it just starts playing. I usually listen to that probably like lately, like even like 2 or 3 times, because I want to hit that right as soon as, because I don't know if you're familiar with like the work of Joe Dispenza.
Sounds familiar.
He's
The
really
guy. I think I have one of his books. Yes.
becoming supernatural,
No.
breaking the habit of being you.
Yep, that's the
Yeah.
one.
So,
Mm-hmm.
basically, the reason that we're so impressionable when we are, from the ages 0 to 12 is because our brainwaves are in what they call theta brainwaves, where they're slower, just kind of like
Mm-hmm.
relax, and things can seep in more. But once we hit like age 13, it starts like they start going quicker, and it's almost like there's a bouncer at your mind where like less things can actually get in.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is like as we're falling asleep and right as we're waking up, we're in more of theta brainwaves. And so the sooner that you can put something into your ears while you're in those phases, it's the stuff is gonna seep in. So that's why like people that fall asleep to the news, like, whoa, good luck with life. if that's what you're doing, because that's
Yeah.
not helpful.
They're probably triple boosted and still wearing a mask.
Oof. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
that's like one of the first things. I always like to, get some water in the system, like to move the body, get some sunlight. I'm very fortunate to live here in sunny Scottsdale, Arizona. Have a nice little balcony that gets some sun early in the morning. Do some meditation. Sometimes I read the Bible a little bit, and then I usually go hit a workout early in the morning. And when I say morning person, I'm not like super early by any means. Like I usually get
Okay.
up at like 6:45, 7 o'clock, and then just kind
That's
of ease
not.
into the day. And but just make sure that like I'm right, because if I'm jumping into social media or work right away, it's just
Yeah.
it can get tough. I mean, I'm in a very like aggressively building phase right now in my business and events, but still, like even today, I had a lot to do, but I took like an hour to make sure that I got myself straight before I tried to.
Oh, before the such a podcast blue situation here. Uh, you're doing a great job. Your answers are like, it's so informative, wise, and
Thank you.
just amazing. Yeah. So let me see. I think I do have a couple more with these. What are your three things on your bucket list?
Bucket list. I want to go cage diving with sharks in South Africa. I want to go do a solo mushroom hike in um, New Zealand for whatever reason.
Mhm.
That's something I really want to do.
Interesting.
And honestly, like a big thing that I'm working towards right now is to do a podcast event in a stadium at Chase Field in downtown
Ooh,
Phoenix that holds like 50,000 people. So
nice.
that's like, I don't know if that's a bucket list item, but that's like what we're working really hard towards and what we want to do, and bring a lot of amazing people together in one space and just knock it out of the park.
Is that on your espresso thingy?
Yep.
So wait, on a side note, if you change, like, can I change my espresso thingies like every day? Like, say I want to have, or how long do I need to stick with that plan?
What we do is every quarter you make a new one.
And so you evaluate, and then you're like, okay, did this, okay, I see.
Yeah. But
Are
we
you
even
here
like had a
now?
conversation with a guy that's very versed in AI, and he said like you could probably build out like essentially like an AI bot where it's like it is your future self and you're just like constantly having conversations with it.
Ooh, like an avatar?
Yeah. It'd be
Oh, can
like
I? I don't want to
I
see
would get
myself
on a I would get on
old.
a call with my future self, and we would just be like having a conversation.
Be like, man, wait, oh my gosh, am I gonna age like that? Ooh.
Or maybe it's
Yeah.
like you look even better. Who knows?
Oh yeah, hopefully. Shoot. Well, okay. So that was. What's your favorite type of music? Because you mentioned that the espresso you could put your favorite song or something like that.
Uh-huh.
What is your song? What is your music?
What's my song?
Hmm.
It's a song called "Coastin" by Mike.
Just Mike?
Yeah, that's what he goes as. He used to be called Mike Stud, and now he's just Mike.
I gotta write this down. Can I find this guy?
Yeah, he just dropped a new album. It's incredible. I would definitely recommend listening.
Best movie you've seen this year?
I haven't even seen that many movies. I watched the Conor McGregor one. I thought it was really cool because I think he made the most money of any debut actor.
Matthew
And
McConaughey, you said?
um, no, Conor McGregor,
Oh, Conor McGregor. Oh,
boxer,
really? I didn't know
boxer,
that.
UFC fighter.
Mm.
It was a pretty good movie. I'm trying to think. I saw Tron for the first time. That kind of scared the shit out of me because I feel like that's all coming true.
I gotta watch it. Don't tell me too much. Was it good?
Yeah, it was good. It was just like, oh wow, I could see that happening. Not in
Creepy,
a good
huh?
way.
I've heard that. I heard that. It's like, ooh. Mm. Well, another movie that was kind of creepy also was Leave the World Behind. That was also a little bit on the creepy side.
Well, I haven't seen that one.
Um, yeah. Uh, Produced by Obama.
Oh,
So you can only imagine. But yeah, what are your top three favorite books?
ooh. First one that comes to mind is Think and Grow Rich. That's probably just the top one. You can't really go wrong with that one.
Yeah.
I'm starting to like the Bible a lot more. I like Joe Dispenza's work. There's also like a book that not too many people know about called no, a lot of people know about psychocybernetics. Feel Free to Prosper is a good one. And then I felt like there was one other I was gonna say. Psychocybernetics is a really good one too.
You're doing some good reading, I see.
Yeah, I used to read a lot. I don't do as much reading. I do a lot of audios.
Okay, so audibles and all that.
Mhm.
Who's your mentor?
I have mentors for different things. Honestly, I
Like,
don't have any like specific direct mentors right now. I kind of consider a lot of people my mentors, even if I'm not like directly working with them. Um, I mean, I think God's my mentor right now, to be honest. And then just like my business partner, I I draw a lot of inspiration from him. Oh, I would take that back. There is one lady. Her name is Andrea Crowder. She's absolutely brilliant. I've learned a lot from her. I had her
Andrea
on my podcast.
Crowder. Okay, I got to check out her episode then.
Yeah,
Sounds like a good one. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yeah. And what's the most used app on your phone?
Instagram.
Yes.
Instagram's a really
Oh.
powerful tool if you use it. If you like, I've learned a lot from my friend Jake about how to use Instagram really powerfully. Like, my mind was just open because um, he came and visited me. He lives in Colorado, and he came and visited me like for a few days, and he was on a live broadcast from a guy that has like 500,000 followers. And he's like, hey, it's like someone that we've kind of like looked up to for a little bit. And he's like, hey, man, like I'm on this live with his name's DG Mindset on Instagram.
Mhm.
And he's like, yeah, let's jump on a call with DG after we get off this live. And I was like, what? What do you mean? Like, yeah, I'll tell him that we want to get on a call. And I was like, what? And sure enough, we're just kind of like pinging him on his live and saying, "Hey, DG, we got something for you. We got to jump on a call after this."
Mm.
And he's like, "Yeah, hit me up, send me a DM." And then sure enough, like we got off the live and we're like, "Hey, let's jump on a call," and he jumped
That's
on right
awesome.
away.
That
So
is so cool.
it's just like it really is such a powerful tool if you leverage it correctly. You have good content. Obviously, you have good content. Um, you really can like everyone receives the DMs, right? Especially I think if you have the check mark, which all you gotta do is pay a couple, $10 for a month. Like people are seeing them, and it's just a matter of if your vibe is right and your content is good. Like people are willing to connect with you if you have like that going on. So it's like build yourself up and you leverage content correctly, and you can literally connect with anybody.
Yeah, that's true. No, you're right. I noticed that men usually on Instagram, men would help other men rather than if there's like a lady that is reaching out to them, oh, let's be on a podcast versus another man. So maybe even if she has more followers, they'd still rather go with, which is like the bro code. I don't know what it is over there, but I'm like,
Huh.
yeah,
So
it's
you've had
very
experience
interesting.
where you want to like connect with guys and they don't want to?
Yeah, they don't even, there's like radio silent. So my thinking is one, maybe they have, who knows, maybe they're like, this lady, I don't really know what her content is about because I don't really just have like a specific niche. I'm a little bit on different things. Or maybe they just have jealous wives. I don't know what the hell is going on because this is just a podcast. Nobody's trying to hit on anybody, but I don't know. I just noticed that and I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
Um,
there's some nuance to that, and I think I've been in relationships where, um, I'm more on the camp of like have effective communication and make sure boundaries are set. But I've had women that I've dated that just feel like you want to make sure and maintain respect and not like leave
right.
any room for opportunities to arise. So that could be it. I think it also just comes down to like how you approach it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think getting on, like there's can be a lot of miscommunication in DMs and texts. So
Maybe.
I think like if you can get on quick calls with people and just like feel vibe, and make sure that like there's clear boundaries set and like, hey, here's what's happening. Like even, I mean, I kind of get it to a degree. Like I have women that reach out to me and I'm very intentional. So I usually ask, I think I even asked you, I'm like, hey, what's the intention behind this?
Right.
And
Yes,
you
you
told
did.
me,
I
and
was
I'm like,
like, oh.
and I think that kind of throws some women off because I've even gotten that response where, attractive women, they're like, whoa, did you think I was hitting on you? And I'm like, no, not necessarily. I just want to know, like, is this business, or like, do you just want to connect, or like, are you interested in me, or like, whatever? Cause it's like, I have had that experience too, where there have been women that like, they see an opportunity and they're like, damn, I want to like, they can be a little, I think there are some people out there that can be deceptive and they're not like true with their intentions. Um, so I'm very intentional about that. Like, I'm cool with like having a conversation, but I like to get to just, hey, what are the
Right.
intentions here right away? Because I'm just big on not wasting time and
Yes.
making sure that we're efficient.
Right. And
So
it's definitely, yeah, I'm 100%, especially like, what's the point?
yeah,
Yeah. So, what is your biggest pet peeve?
pet peeve. I feel like there was one that came up recently. Uh, I I think overall is like people that um like complain or like don't take responsibility.
Mm,
Just have
complainers,
like a
huh?
negative mindset. Like don't tap into their potential.
Hmm.
Play the blame game. That's probably like top of the list.
Yeah, I can see that. Especially, it's like, oh my gosh, that's a never ending thing. Those kind of people. And I have only three, and then we're going to wrap this up because I don't want to hold you up too long. The three would you rather questions, the
Okay.
last game. Would you rather never have to work again or never have to sleep again?
Oof, I don't think I could live if I couldn't sleep.
Right? I don't think that's humanly possible. I don't know. I don't know why AI gave me this question. Like, wait, you totally are not going to survive that. Would you rather be without internet for a week or without your phone for a whole week?
What? But I would have internet, but not a phone.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could have an iPad or a computer, like a laptop.
Well, if I had a phone, so I would have a phone and no internet. Or I
Yeah,
would.
a phone and no internet.
I don't. I mean, I guess I would probably take a computer and internet over a phone and no internet.
So you do need that freaking internet, huh?
I think that's kind of what.
Right. Right. That's kind of like what you do. Would you rather travel back in time to meet your ancestors or to the future to meet your descendants?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think back in time.
Hmm. Interesting. But then if you go back in time, oh, I guess you could always tell them, hey, this is what the future looks like. Invest in these, in bitcoins, and this, and this, and that. Make sure these
Yeah,
stocks
there's
are
probably some financial gain if you want to go forward for sure.
right.
I feel like there's
Yeah,
more. I feel
that's,
like there's more wisdom if you go back.
yeah, because you already know. Yeah. Smart cookie, that's true. Yeah, so Niko, thank you so much for your time. I know you value that just as much as I do, and I'm so thankful we were here for a minute. And I'm so excited to hear more about the espresso project.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's so cheap. 40 something bucks? That's
yeah,
pretty much that's nothing. People need to get on board with that.
yeah.
That's yeah. I gotta check it out. Send me a link if you don't mind whenever you have time.
Cool. Yeah, I'll send that through. And if you have any interest, you're more than welcome to come to the podcast on the 11th. We have
Oh
people
yeah.
flying
Oh.
in from all over the country on this one.
Is it gonna be live somewhere? Or can we watch it if I can't, obviously? I mean, would we be able to
It'll
watch it?
just be in person for this one. We're not going to stream it.
Oh, so no streaming?
You got to come and get it live.
That's yeah. Unfortunately, it's too short notice for me for this one, but keep me posted. Maybe in the future I can attend one. But so nothing will ever be streamed like from those ones? Like the stadium one? Come on.
We'll see. Probably.
Because
Who knows?
that's like pretty big deal to not stream.
That's what we gotta be. That's the whole point. We want to bring people together.
I see what you mean. Okay. To make it like exclusive and exquisite to just,
Yeah.
oh, okay, then shoot,
You
let
gotta
me
come to
know.
feel it. Like it's a different vibe when you get in the room. You get there and you're like, oh, I get it. It makes sense. I feel it.
And people network and connect and
Hmm.
interesting. That's pretty interesting. I haven't heard any projects like these, so I'm really excited for your future. I know it's going to be a very successful one.
Likewise. Yeah. I mean,
Thank you
thank you
so
for having
much,
me on the
Niko. Of
podcast, and I
course.
appreciate what you're doing. It's I think there's really a lot of power in having good conversations and doing it right. So appreciate you having me on and letting me share my message a little bit.
Yes, thank you. And we'll keep in touch. Thanks so much.